Hello, today I'll be talking to you about using innovative strategies through tech in social work practice. Before I get started, I want to take the opportunity to thank the Taiwan Association of Social Workers. I want to thank you for promoting professional development and enhancing the quality of social work services. I also want to thank you for the opportunity for being here today. Thank you for seeing my work, for seeing value in my work, and allowing me the opportunity to speak with your community pertaining to technology in social work practice. Some may wonder, who am I? And I want to take this opportunity to share who I am. My name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a believer. I'm a family woman. I'm a member of the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated and a member of Jack and Jill of America. I'm also an associate professor at Tarleton State University. I'm a published author. I am a presenter on a local, state, and national level. And my research focuses on tech use in social work practice and education, as well as healthy aging and diversity and inclusion. I am so happy to be here today to share my knowledge with you all. And I just thank, as I mentioned, the association for the invitation. And before I move into my presentation, I had to show you my lovely family. I did mention that I'm a family woman. So here are my members of the family. We all enjoy playing basketball. And so I thought this was a fitting photo to bring you closer to who I am. Our learning objectives for today's presentation will include I'll be describing the importance of including tech use during a psychosocial assessment. I'll apply questions from the BPD technology assessment that myself and a colleague took place in, Dr. Laurel Hitchcock. It is a checklist for use during a psychosocial assessment, and I'll be sharing some of the findings from that. I'm also going to be discussing the appreciation for digital literacy. And finally, best practices with tech use in social work. Here are all the areas or the objectives that I'll plan to focus on during our time together. As I introduce the technology assessment, I first want to tell you the definition of an assessment. I'm sure this isn't something I need to share with you all, but as we start working with clients, we go through a series of questions. And during those series of questions, we start to learn or gain knowledge about our clients or our community or the population that we're serving, maybe even the agency. And there are various steps within the assessment process. But what I'm going to talk to or emphasize is the way we can assess our clients while using technology. Sometimes when we're gathering information, we can gather information through a client's smartphone, through e-readers, sometimes through the computer. There are various methods of gathering information from our clients through tech use. Sometimes with the smartphone, there are applications that are being used. Sometimes there are different internet connections. Sometimes there are private internet connections. Sometimes there are public internet connections. And there are always things that social workers need to be aware of when we're using technology. So the first area that we're also going to discuss is the email accounts, how they are used. And I've noticed that sometimes our clients say, I'm not tech savvy. I don't use tech. I don't know how to use tech. But then we learn that they're using emails. They're using social media, or they're texting, and all of these are technology or forms of technology. When I get into the tech assessment, clients might benefit from tech-related referrals. Sometimes social service agencies will provide their support. Sometimes there is online support. Sometimes there is tech support. I know, for instance, I have a client who doesn't, the mother doesn't talk. And so all of the engagement is done through text messaging. So we want to be aware that we could possibly assess clients through technology. We could assess clients through Messenger. I know that often as we're logging online or we're working with agencies or organizations, sometimes there's always like a little chat box for us to use. So we want to be familiar with that. And then the last one says, is the client at risk of online victimization? As the social work professional, we have to be aware of this. The victimization could look like financial, emotional, or sexual. These are all areas that we should be aware of. For instance, financial, taking banking information. I know I've had circumstances where my banking information has been stolen and used. Emotional, and then finally is sexual. Sometimes I know that people from different genders log on and they play games on video games, and sometimes they lead children into doing bad things as it relates to sexuality. What role does tech play in the life of a client? This is a question we want to ask our clients. We want to be familiar with this. What are the roles? Is tech causing a problem for you? Is tech a tool for support for you? I mentioned earlier how I have a client that the mother uses the phone because she doesn't have a voice, she cannot speak, so she uses the text message. So that will be considered tech being a support. Tech could be a support by logging on and gaining access to various organizations, could be completing an application for governmental assistance, for funding, for insurance. Also, we want to know, is anyone worried about their tech use? I know that many seniors are nervous about putting their bank account information on their phones, on the internet. They're more comfortable with using checks rather than putting their information online. So we have to wonder, or we have to inquire whether our clients are experiencing that. So I mentioned about the BPD technology assessment myself and a colleague took place in. We did a little crowdsourcing with other social workers to find out how they are using technology or how clients are using technology. So we used a mind mapping tools and we used Google Docs to obtain this information from our colleagues. There's 7 sections of the assessment checklist, and I'll be going through those sections. Just a few slides just to share with you about this. Section 1 explores the social and digital technology. Section 2 talks about digital literacy and comfort of client to use technology. Section 3 is the developmentally based considerations for individuals. 4 is integrational cultural issues. 5 is special populations. 6 is families. And then 7 is social work technology self-assessment. I'll explore all of these areas and share different aspects related to technology and how we as social workers, while we're in practice, we must be familiar or become familiar with these things. Some of the questions in the BPD tech assessment says, what hardware or devices do you own, right? What devices do you wish you had access to? Do you need a hearing aid? Do you need a smartphone? Do you need a laptop? Remember, laptop helps us to connect. It helps us to engage. Remember, the laptop helps us to network. What are the barriers to owning or accessing hardware or devices? Are our clients struggling with cost? Oftentimes we work with clients from vulnerable populations, right? So they don't always have the financial means to have a laptop or a smartphone or hearing aids or things of that nature. They may not have access to social media to connect with different agencies or organizations. And these are questions that we must ask our clients. And these are also the questions that we pitch to some of our social work colleagues. Other questions are technology ownership and access. How do they use technology? And then what is the cost our clients can afford for technology, if at all? Digital literacy and comfort. Social workers must be comfortable using technology. We have to be. It's our way to engage. It's our way to link our clients to services. It's our way to network with one another. Overall, we must become comfortable with using technology. It's our access to news. It's our access to understanding the difference between fake news and real news. It helps us to link our clients with the services that they need. Are we comfortable with knowing the difference between identity theft and when someone's phishing us? Netiquette, and then tech. How can we intervene between technology? What methods are we using to communicate with our clients through technology? Are we using email? Are we using technology? Have we set up some kind of group me or using an app to communicate with our clients? This is digital literacy. We have to have some level of awareness of technology. And we have to introduce technology to our clients because some of them are using it, they just don't know. Developmentally based considerations. How are infants, toddlers, and young children using technology? How much screen time are they using per day? What technology is shared? Are they on the tablet all day watching shows? Are they on the phone all day watching shows? Or are they learning through the phone? Are they learning through the computer? What are methods that our clients are using? And these are questions that we should be proposing to our clients. What are parents teaching kids about the internet? Are we sharing about the safety issues of the internet or the security issues? How are elementary, tweens, and teens using social media? They're texting. They're using social media, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook Messenger, Kik, YouTube, Vine. Some of them are using so many different methods. And how frequently are they using these methods? Who do they follow on these social media accounts? That's very important. And who's in their DMs, right? Like, who are they communicating with? Intergenerational culture. So as we look at intergenerational, often we find that aging adults are nervous, right? They are so nervous about technology. For parents, do the parents have the same kind of technology that their children have? Does parents have Snapchat or Instagram? Are they using these type of applications? Does dad have a flip phone? Does he have access to technology while the teenager has an iPhone 6 or the iPhone 12? What's happening within the lives of our clients? Cultural issues related to differing informational. So within one household, how many forms of technology are families using? And what are they using it for? Are they using cameras around the house for security? Are they using the Alexa in the house to as an intercom to communicate with one another? Are they using the Alexa plugs to turn off lights in the house? What is the technology that is being used in the homes of our clients, if any? With young adults, they have access to online dating and apps such as Tinder. Some are even dating on Twitter. Some are dating on Facebook or connecting, I should say. Some are connecting and engaging through all kinds of social media sites. And we have to know these things as social workers. These are questions that we should be asking our clients while assessing them. Also, we have special populations. We have mental health applications. We have mental health for self-awareness applications. We have applications for mindfulness, for validations, right? So self-worth. We have applications for fostering youth. Who are they allowed to contact? And what are the special population safety issues? Do foster parents know how to monitor this use? We definitely want to make sure that our foster parents are keeping in contact with the children and ensuring that they're not engaging with someone that may pose harm, or family members that they're not supposed to be in contact with. Families, what are the family rules or norms about technology use? How are the rules made? I know in my household, my children turn their phones in at 10:30, and my husband and I keep the phones in our room until the next morning. So how are other families monitoring their kids' tech use? Who has passwords to media accounts? Do parents know the passwords to the children's media accounts? Are there passwords on the applications that are on the television? Do parents have the passwords to their kids' phones? And if they don't, are there safety issues? Do parents need the password to their kids' phones? These are all issues that we want to become familiar with while working in the field. The social worker technology self-assessment. How does your agency support technology use? Do they use it through trainings? Do they provide adequate technology? Technology that loses signal? Technology that we can't print out documents? Technology that impacts us in a negative way? Or does agencies have technology that impacts us in a positive way and supports the work of a social worker? How knowledgeable are you about technology, right? In practice, what do you know? Could you explain privacy settings in Facebook to a client? Could you explain privacy settings on Snapchat, on Twitter? Even your privacy settings on your cell phone. Could you explain that to a client? These are thoughts that social work professionals must become aware of. How do you stay current about tech trends? What are you using? Are you studying? Are you reading? When a crisis takes place and we have clients texting us, or we're needing to use telehealth, how are you, the social worker, learning to use telehealth? How are we using effective methods to use texting services? Best practices for tech use. Let me share how we need to stay abreast with what's happening in the tech world as professionals. We must always read. We must read the literature on tech use within social work. Okay. We must also create a professional digital blueprint. What does that look like? Create a social media page that is designated strictly to professional use, to certain topics that focus on social issues, teenage pregnancy, homelessness, violence towards various communities, emphasizing on various communities, such as at-risk youth, such as LGBTQ populations, such as those that are experiencing financial loss. We want to make sure that we have a professional blueprint, that we can access these populations, that we get media related to these populations. Become familiar with privacy settings. I spoke about that earlier. If we don't know privacy settings, we won't be able to teach our clients. And the reality is we want to ensure that we can help our clients to become self-sufficient. We want to empower our clients so that they can walk on their own and live a productive life. So we have to educate ourselves so that we can help our clients. There is a need for us to network with the online social work community. There is a social work tech community. The hashtag is SOCW Tech or Tech SOCW. So we want to network with these communities online. If we're not in the same state, If we're not in the same city or even in the same country, we can connect with other social workers who are doing the same work online. We can connect. We need to use online tech. We need to use online platforms to connect with one another. We need to be able to share resources with vulnerable populations. If we have clients that are seeking housing, if we have clients that are seeking medical care, clients that are seeking anything, funding, we need to be able to contact them through social media platforms or through tech use. We need to create tags for various topics. I mentioned some of those social problems or those social issues. So we want to create tags or groups so that we can get information as soon as it lands on our desk. Tech use should be taught in higher education so that when we come out in the field, right, we're comfortable with more than just emails. We need to be comfortable with our phones and the different things that they do. We want to be comfortable with the computer, and we definitely want to be comfortable with various social media platforms. We want to maintain a consistent digital presence. Everyone should be logging on to their social media site weekly, if not daily. I try to post on my social media about 3 days per week. I want my clients to know that I'm available to them, that I'm going to share information, that they can come to my social media and get tips, that they can get help. If we can't be there in person, we could at least share information on the computer or on the phone. And then the last best practice is to present with a non-biased tone. When we're sharing information on the computer or through technology, we want to make sure we're not pro one thing and then we're not for another. We want to have a non-biased presentation. All of the information that we're sharing must support ethical practices. We want to present ourselves as ethical social workers, that we are providing services to all, not just one population. And so these would be best practices in our language, our tone when we're on the computer. Important technology, helpful tips. It's important for social workers to consider clients' relationships and comfort with technology during assessments. If we are going to adequately serve our clients, we have to explore this topic. We have to ask clients about their tech use, and we have to ensure that our tech use is up to par as well. Social work assessment should include client strengths, such as access to particular forms of technology. Do our clients have phones? Some of our clients who are homeless have phones, and some do not. Some have phones, but they may not have a charger to keep it charged. Some may have phones, but they may not have services to access to make a phone call. They may not have Wi-Fi to log on to the internet. We have to ask these questions. Social workers should consider limited computer knowledge or fluency with technology, and the risk of cyberbullying, electronic identity theft, and other behaviors regarding the use of technology. Technology is here to stay. Every year it enhances higher, right? And it's important for us to use it regularly so that we're fluent, so that we're comfortable, and so that we better serve our clients. Tech use shouldn't be just used in practice. Tech use should be used in social work education. If we start with social work education, implementing technology, then it'll be simpler or easier for social workers to use tech in practice, in social work practice. Here are some of my references. And if there are any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to call me or to email me or to reach out to me using technology. Thank you for your time, and thank you to the Taiwan Association of Social Workers.